Court will come to order. It is Monday, August the 26th, 2024, 9 o'clock in the morning. The Kerr County Commissioners Court is now in session. If you would, please rise for the prayer and pledge.
Heavenly Father, this morning we lift up the county workers who have toiled in the recent extreme heat. Please protect and restore them this week. We thank you for the relief of more reasonable weather on the way, as we humbly ask you again for your continued blessing of rain. Lord, watch over our country, our state, our county, and our families. Guide us in making good decisions today, rooted in wisdom and love. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. I think everybody already noted I waited until exactly 9 o'clock to convene court. That's the habit we have here. But if you have the phone with you, because nearly everyone does, either turn it to silence or just turn it off, so it doesn't interrupt the procedure. The first item on any regular Commissioners Court meeting is to receive public input. This is our opportunity to hear what the public wants us to hear. You got a captive audience. We're not going anywhere. We're going to hear it. We ask that you limit your remarks to no more than 3 minutes.
I'm hearing impaired. Can you speak louder, sir?
Please.
I hear you, but if you were just a wee bit louder, it would be helpful.
I don't know what to do about that.
Speak louder.
Well, I can't sit here and shout. Anyway, with regard to public input, we ask that you identify yourself and where you live. Limit your remarks to not more than 3 minutes. And with that, I've got several people that have signed up. One that signed up for public input. I don't know if others want public input. But I'll call you first, Brent, because you filled the warm out for that.
Where do I speak from?
Podium. You on YouTube?
Oh, there we go. Okay, name's Brett Bates, Precinct 1, live at 434 Forest Ridge. I think the last time I spoke to the chamber here was 25 years ago. And they didn't take my advice then because I told them that being self-directed in their health insurance was playing lotto with a major occurrence, and they had a $650,000 claim that happened the next year. So hopefully the advice I'm going to give you all today, you'll heed better than they did. One of the reasons that you haven't seen me for 25 years is generally the county runs pretty well. And I've always seen the county is running a whole lot better than the city. And I know most of y'all. I've known Jonathan Letts since the day I moved here. And Jonathan wasn't even married. He didn't even have a girlfriend back then. But anyway, I digress. What I'm here to talk about is all the election falderon. Many of you know that I got all of the election results, all of the actual votes for 2022, and a group of people did a hand count. I'm the only person in the room that knows the results, the total results of that, and the total analysis of that. The results of that was so abysmal that I then requested 2024. Jonathan said in a previous meeting that nobody has brought him any evidence that there's any kind of problem. And our problem in the 2022 was if you go from a range of 1 to 1,000, it was closer to 1,000 than it was to 1. And math kind of my strong suit. But I wasn't really on any kind of witch hunt against any of the county employees or anything at all. I was just trying to help us get things a little sharpened up. And so I talked to some of these people, and I'm kind of on the periphery of everything. I don't belong to anything other than my family and God. And on the periphery of thing, there's a lot of concerns out there. And so I'm kind of the get it done sort of guy. So as you all know, I did a FOIA request for the 2024. It wasn't produced. I received a letter saying that there was a new dictation from the Secretary of State. We're going to delay it. Then all of a sudden I find out that we're modifying the machines. I sent you all a demand letter over a month ago. I've heard no response whatsoever. And the unfortunate thing is I see you all going down the path that the city went when I caught them illegally altering a permit of mine 19 months after it was received. So on January 27th, the city is facing damages somewhere between $7 and $70 million. And some of those people run a real good chance of going to jail. I really don't have a bone to pick with you all. In fact, what I'm here to do is offer my assistance that if you all decide to go down the path of running a hand count at the same time that you do the election, I would think you want 200 people involved in the count rather than one. And I'm 305, so I'm through.
Any other public input? There being none, we'll move on to the commissioners' comments. Precinct 1.
Based on the schedule today, I'm good. Move along.
Good. Good.
Okay, yeah, currently the burn ban is lifted, but after talking to both of the VFD chiefs in precinct 2, I'm planning to reinstate the burn ban for precinct 2 tomorrow. So we got some burning to do, get it done today. Now, the forecast calls for some rain. If we get some decent rain, then always lift it again. But the point is, it's so dry out there right now. And this is what, in the fire department world, we call 1 hour fuel, which is so dry between the dead grass and the branches and shrubs and so forth that even if we get a rain in this semi-arid environment, within 1 hour, it's dry enough and ready to go up. The other fear is that we end up with some of these storms like they recently had in Fredericksburg, and they ended up getting some fires due to lightning strikes. So we'll see, but just so you're aware, please be careful if you are burning or any activities. Otherwise, I'll just report that I've been meeting and talking to engineers and architects in preparation for the RFQs that we're going to talk about later today on the agenda. That's primarily associated with the ag barn improvements and the 550 Earl Garrett office modifications. And we're going to have a number of items that talk about the lithium battery energy storage systems. And I've been working closely with Commissioner-elect Jeff Holt on that, and in fact have also sent a letter to the governor expressing my concerns about it. That's available on my website, whichfaces.com. That's all for now.
Good. 3.
I likewise will be putting the burn ban on tomorrow morning. It is very dry, and we're having some pretty severe fires up north of us in Gillespie and Mason counties, lightning strike. And it does happen. I mean, it's been a number of years on our ranch since we've had it, but it was in the late 70s, several hundred acres burned due to lightning. 2 different spots they did it on the ranch. But anyway, it does happen. Other thing, I want to congratulate our neighbors to the east, the Bernie Little League. While they didn't win everything, they did end up coming in 4th place. They did play at the championship game, and they did have a little bit of basically 2 injuries in pitching. I think they probably would have won, but they didn't. But still, what they accomplished is remarkable. To get to Williamsport is a big feat, and to get into the U.S. championship game is amazing. So hats off to those. I know a couple of those parents, a couple of those kids, and I'm very proud of that whole group over there.
Yeah, I'll echo that. I have, one of them was a grandson of a good friend of mine, but they did well, and it's they should be very proud, and we're proud of them. Speaking to the, unfortunately, burn ban's not going to help with lightning strikes, and I've reached out to all 4 of my fire chiefs this morning, and they say let's hold off. So we're leaving the burn ban off till got our fingers crossed on the rain, as probably everybody in this room. Hopefully it's not just a tease like we get a lot of times, but we'll see. We're monitoring. I've had several calls, especially in the Hun area, people wanting to put the burn ban on. And I'll reiterate what I do. I always reach out to all 4 of my fire chiefs and get a consensus of what they want to do. And as of this morning, they're saying let's hold off a little bit longer. So, Judge, let's get to it. We've got a full agenda.
Okay.
Well, that's true.
The only comment I would make, so there's no confusion, I think it was our last board meeting, court meeting. We passed the burn ban regulation. And the way we handle that is each precinct has a commissioner. And that commissioner has been delegated the authority to decide whether the burn ban is on or the burn ban is off. And so what you heard was a collection of 3's on, 2's on, 4's off, 1 off. That's one of the difference. We found that we're so big as a county, we're 1,100 square miles, and so long, narrow, that we don't have the same weather conditions in one place for the whole county.
Or in the same precinct in my case.
But, so we try to do it, customize it, make it more responsive to the people's needs. So, with that, we'll move on to the consideration agenda. And I'm going to let you know, we're going to take that one item out of order, from the 1.6 up to the 1.2 slot. Let me call item 1.1, which is a presentation of certificate to the Kerr County Clerk, Elections, and Kerr County Tax Assessor Collector, voter registration for rating of outstanding per the 2024 primary election count. Website reviewed by the League of Women Voters for Texas. Ms. Bunny Bond.
Good morning. My name is Bunny Bond. I live at 213 Stephanie, which is in Precinct 4. And I'm here this morning as the Voter Services Coordinator for the Hill Country League of Women Voters. And I want to introduce Janice Zittelman, who is the President of the Hill Country League of Women Voters. We now cover 6 counties in the Hill Country. Kerr was our county of origin, and our league celebrated 45 years of service to the public this past May. So Janice Zittelman, who is a resident of Gillespie County, will present the certificates.
Thank you, Judge and Commissioners, for allowing us time. And most likely, you're aware that voters across Texas rely on their counties to provide useful, accurate, and up-to-date information about how, when, and where to vote. A team of League of Women Voter members volunteered and completed a review of all 254 county election websites for the primary election in March of 2024 in Texas. This was important to ensure voters had ready access to the information they needed to vote, and based on a set of criteria, the league awards points based on the information that's provided on the county website. The Hill Country League congratulates Kerr County as one of the 35 counties that achieved outstanding results with a score of 92 out of 100 points. The county staff who provided major contributions to this website include Lisa Walter, Public Relations Director and Web Content Coordinator, Bob Reeves, Tax Assessor Collector and Voter Registration, Nadine Alford, Deputy Tax Assessor Collector, Voter Registration, Ian Collum, County Clerk, Elections, and Denise Bela, Deputy County Clerk, Elections. And we have framed certificates for their office space to remind them of their important contributions to make citizens aware of the information that they have provided. And we're also grateful to you for investing the tax dollars in providing clear and accurate information regarding elections. Thank you.
When everyone whose name was called out, please stand so we can recognize you. I see Bob back in the corner, and Nadine, Denise. Lisa, you're up there. Thank you. Clay, did you want to speak on this?
Yes, I did.
No,
Do I want to speak on it?
Huh?
I just want to say thanks for all the hard work. I have worked elections in Kerr County since 2008, and I know how much work goes in to making our elections free and fair in our county, and I really appreciate the county staff. And the league is very proud. This is not the first time that this award has come to Kerr County. So thank you to all the county staff that works in the election. And that includes the people in maintenance who help too. We can't forget that it takes a lot of people to make our elections work in this county. Thank you.
Thank you. Clay?
Clay Lambert, 673 Town Creek, Kerrville. On behalf of our election integrity team, we'd like to congratulate Bob and his staff also on their award. You know, all eyes are on the county website on election day, and the information there is refreshed frequently and updated in a timely manner. We also want to thank Nadine and Bob for taking their time to take a look at our findings and review things and make any corrections that may be necessary. Now, is there more work to do? Well, yes, there is. And there's still some questionable things that need to be looked into, but everything's rolling along, and we look forward to continued collaboration with the staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else on item 1.1? As we go on to item 1.6, which is to consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to appoint Shirley Walters to the Emergency Services District number 1.
All right, I've selected Sherry Walters to be our incoming new ESD number 1 board member. We needed a new treasurer, and she's more than qualified, overqualified for that position. And after a little arm twisted, no, but she has agreed to do it. So with that, I move that we appoint Sherry Walters to ESD number 1 board.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
All right. So we have the swearing.
I'm trying to see if I do. Yes, sir, I do. I'll come down. There's 2 oaths that they have to take. One is a non-corruption oath that will be last, because it's kind of boring. First, with these photo opportunities, I've got them up, so let's stand right this way. If you would, raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Sherry Walters,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
I will faithfully execute the duties
I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office
of the office
of Board of Commissioners of the Emergency Service District number 1
of Board of Commissioners of the Emergency Services District 1
of Kerr County
of Kerr County
and the state of Texas,
and the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve,
preserve,
protect,
protect,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Okay, thank you.
And we got one more that I got to read. Okay. I state your name.
I, Sherry Walters,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
I have not directly or indirectly
I have not directly or indirectly
paid,
paid,
offered,
offered,
promised to pay,
promised to pay,
contributed,
contributed,
or promised to contribute
or promised to contribute
anything of value or any money,
anything of value or any money,
or promised any public office
or promised any public office
or employment
or employment
for the giving
for the giving
or withholding
or withholding
of a vote at the election at which I was elected,
of a vote at the election of which I was elected,
or as a reward
or as a reward
to secure my appointment
to secure my appointment
or confirmation,
or confirmation,
whichever the case may be.
whichever the case may be.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Okay,
And I
thank
need
you.
to get you to sign these. I didn't bring a pen down here. Right here and right here. Very good. And I will sign them and get them to the authorities. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate
Sherry.
it. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Okay. Next item we have on the agenda is item 1.3, which is consider discuss and take appropriate action to approve a resolution against battery equipment storage systems, BESS, proposed in Kerr County. I don't see Mr. Holt Ma'am?
My name is Susan Brennan.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
live in Kerrville, and I'm speaking to you today, Judge Kelly, Ann Overby, Rich Paces, Jonathan Less, and Don Harris. Battery storage or battery energy storage systems are devices that enable energy currently from renewables like solar and wind to be stored and then released when the power is needed most. Lithium-ion batteries, which are used in mobile phones and electric cars, are currently the dominant storage technology for large-scale plants to help electricity grids ensure a reliable source of renewable energy. This safety, and this is another document I have, this safety and health information bulletin is not a standard of regulation and it creates no legal obligations. The bulletin is advisory in nature, informational in content, and is intended to assist employers in providing a safe, healthful workplace. Occupational Safety and Health Act, employers must comply with hazard-specific safety and health standards and regulations. This safety and health information bulletin highlights hazards associated with combustible dust, work practices and guidelines that reduce the potential for a combustible dust explosion or that reduce the danger to employees if such an explosion occurs, training to protect employees from these hazards. And there's a background information. Organic dust fire and explosion, Massachusetts killed 3 and 9 injured. In February 1999, a deadly fire and explosion occurred in a foundry in Massachusetts. The OSHA and state and local officials conducted a joint investigation of this incident. The joint investigation report indicated that a fire initiated in a shell molding machine from an unknown source and then extended into the ventilation system ducts by feeding on heavy deposits of phenylformaldehyde resin dust. A small primary deflagration occurred within the ductwork, dislodging the dust that settled on the exterior of the ducts. The ensuing dust cloud provided fuel for a secondary explosion, which was powerful enough to lift the roof and cause wall failures. Causal factors listed in the joint investigation report include an inadequacy in the following areas: housekeeping to control dust accumulations, ventilation system design, maintenance of ovens and equipment safety devices. Organic dust fire and explosion in North Carolina, 6 killed, 38 injured. In January 2003, devastating fires and explosions destroyed a North Carolina pharmaceutical plant that manufactured rubber drug delivery components. 6 employees were killed and 38 people, including 2 firefighters, were injured. The U.S. Chemical Safety and Hazard Investigation Board, an independent federal agency charged with investigating chemical incidents, issued a final report claiming the accumulation of combustible polyethylene dust above the suspended ceilings fueled the explosion, i.e. the lithium-ion batteries here in Texas. He just talked about it being so dry. I know our grid is fragile, but if we had one of those, and electric cars have been known to explode, if we had one of those in a rural area, the fire would be rampant like some of these ones in California. We do not need this. Amen.
Thank you.
Susan?
Mr. Keeter?
Susan.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
Drop.
thank you.
Good morning. I am a resident of Central Point. We're very close to one of the locations in the project will be for the battery emergency storage system. So out of the research that I could do, which is minimal, There's not a whole lot out there, but it seems to be that the best failure incidences are rising as more storage systems are installed across the country, such as Arizona, California, New York are a few examples of the most recent larger fires. Some of the researchers track and publish the utility scale tables for commercial and industrial incidences nationwide, but some report the smaller incidences as well, and it depends on the reporting agency, which are not many. It's just so fresh and so new, there's just not enough research to really accommodate my case as far as the safety and the risks involved. My questions, though, I have questions. What are the standard operation procedures for the battery management? Where can we find them? That's my question. Another question is, where can the citizens of Kerr County view operations and maintenance plans? We haven't seen those. We need those. Those are important questions. Other questions that were asked last time in the commission report was who maintains the battery emergency storage system? The last representative from the last court proceeding that we had stated that the owner would be the one who maintains it. Well, I want to know who the owner is. Is it going to be the landowner, which is, in this case would be the real estate investors, the facility container owner, which is the renewable energy company, or could it be the actual battery manufacturer, which is the owner, which could be somebody out of India or China, which to me that compromises the safety and security of American citizens. It actually doesn't harden the grid, it kind of makes it vulnerable if they have access to something as important as that. I understand we have a grid problem, we need to resolve that, but we're not ready for this large of a system to be stored near a community of people. It needs to go further west if we're going to do something like this. I mean, we'll get there, but this is a rush job. So with my statement I'm making, it's a risk versus benefit. I feel like they're not in our favor. The risk seems to be ignored in this situation. There's not much known about the battery design, and we know how our environmental conditions are here at this location in South Texas, which are hot and dry, which means that we could have an inferno burn for days, weeks, months. It can happen. It's happened before. I don't want to be the victim, or I don't want our community to be the victims of a situation like that. So, the substances that are used to extinguish these flames or these fires is a powdered chemical substance. Well, that powdered chemical substance is not in mass production because there's not a high demand for it right now. Hopefully there will never be a high demand because we don't know what that chemical is. After using that chemical to extinguish the fire, what's in that chemical? Where does it land? Where does it go? Where does the water take it into the soil? Those are major questions that I have. As per many researchers and documents, the current recommended response is to allow the noxious and toxic gases to burn until the fire has extinguished itself. That could be a long time. That could be, we don't know what's going in the air. There are multiple chemicals that are actually off gases from the lithium. Off gases are actually, we got thermal runaway. Thermal runaway is not a good thing. I mean, I'm not expecting our volunteer firefighters to take care of some emergency disaster like that. We are just volunteer firefighters throughout the county. That's just, in my opinion, that's an insult to our firefighters. That's an insult to our community to ask us to actually wonder what's going on with those plants as we live next to them. We live next to them. Heat reaction. We have another issue. It's called exothermic. Exothermic is actually a heat reaction which it keeps getting hotter and hotter and hotter. With our ambient temperatures here in Texas, we never get really below 30, ever, really, very few days. But for the most part, that exothermic thing that I'm talking about means that it's going to just continue to get hotter and hotter and hotter as it makes contact with the air of our environment here in South Texas. So common sense says that those gases would get hotter with ambient temperature. This market isn't really presenting itself to be a viable market, and it appears to be renewable energy investors and real estate investors needing to validate why the BESS is an experiment deemed viable for Kerr County citizens. It is an experiment. We are not lab rats here. That's all I have to say about that. The long-term viability, not proving to be documented. I don't see the benefits being greater than the risks for the residents of Kerr County or any other county for that matter. The hazards this presents to our ecosystem, human life, and our livestock are much greater than a solar farm or wind farm. There are people and ranchers who live near the substations. I'm one of them. We Kerr County residents tolerate having power lines. I tolerate that. I've been tolerating that for years. Having power lines, giant poles and towers. I tolerate that. Now I gotta wonder about this BES system. I'm not happy about this. I'm against it, totally against it. I feel that asking for our volunteer departments across Kerr County to accommodate and mitigation of proper emergency responses is insulting to their volunteer duties. They are volunteers to our community. Asking us citizens to tolerate the idea of a disaster looming is not going to be easy for the companies that you guys represent. We don't want to have you store your off-peak energy and sell it back to us citizens at a higher kilowatt hour through ERCOT. Not right. So, I'm against it. Thank you for your time.
What is your name?
Christine Pugh.
Pardon me, Christine Pugh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you like to say something on your agenda?
Sure. Well, I took, as I commented last meeting, Jeff Holt prepared a resolution against the best battery system. I said I thought it was a little bit too broad. I think I was in the agenda backed up a more concise version. And the thing that I thought was too broad, a lot of it was against renewable energy. That's a different topic from against renewable energy, but it's not part of the best system. And I think you're better off keeping them focused if you're trying to, specifically trying to.
It is related because it's the reason that we need stabilization systems in the best, because we're adopting so much unreliable wind energy.
Right.
But anyway.
But anyway, so there was one sent out an agenda package. There was one change that a citizen met with me and recommended. I didn't have any problem with it. I know it's under related to TCEQ. I originally said formally request a TCEQ and change it to formally requires TCEQ. This a little bit stronger word.
You gave us three versions. Which one are you recommending or
the
like
third,
to get approved?
and then the citizen also mentioned that we should do two. We should do one to TCEQ and one to our state senator and
either way.
Yeah, either way. So it doesn't make that much difference to me. So I have all three attached. I also think that there is some legislation. I talked to Mr. Harris a little bit. That there is legislation pending on the distance from property line, and we probably should be consistent. Is it 1,000?
1,500 feet is what they're going, 500 yards.
Okay.
Is what the language West Verdell has in the bill he's going to be pushing.
Then I would recommend that the sentence that says require any BES facility to have at least 1,500 foot setback from adjacent property lines. Right. Just so that's consistent with what he's already proposing.
I'm good with sending this to everybody, but the one thing we would have to change is we are referring to Representative Verdell. He hasn't been elected yet.
Should be
Elected.
right. He will. Right.
He will.
Yeah, and I don't know if it is better to do two or one. Well, the person who was Terry Hall, then she said she thought it's better to do two.
Okay, either way.
Let's do it.
I'll make a motion that we do two separate resolutions, one to DCQ with the modifications mentioned, and one to Representative-elect Verdell and Senator Flores.
We, ordinarily I wouldn't do this, but we haven't found one person that's in favor of these things, folks. Obviously, there's a few landowners that are getting paid off that I guess are in favor of it to some degree. Why don't you read one of those so people will hear what the resolution we're passing?
Sure. The resolution, whereas resolution against battery energy storage systems in Kerr County, whereas battery energy storage system BES are being considered to locate in Kerr County, whereas there's a history of lithium battery instability and overheating that can lead to thermal runaway fires and possible explosions, raising serious concerns regarding their installation in Kerr County, whereas it's extremely difficult to extinguish a lithium battery fire, and our rural volunteer firefighters lack enough water to extinguish a lithium battery fire at the best facility, whereas the environmental impact associated with a lithium battery fire in the best facility from the toxic gases that are released and contaminants that can find their way into our creeks and rivers as well as into our groundwater on which we rely. Whereas there is inadequate regulation regarding the eventual disposal of best lithium batteries at the end of their life, ensuring the safe disposal at a suitable approved disposal site. Whereas the installation of a BESS facility will impact and likely lower the property values of adjacent lands. Whereas BESS is not a renewable or new source of energy and has a power discharge cycle limited to only a few hours, rendering it useless in a prolonged power outage. Now therefore be it resolved that Kerr County Commissioners Court formally requires the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality to deny all environmental permits for BESS facilities proposed in Kerr County. And then the other one is the same, whereas it says now therefore be it resolved that Kerr County Commissioners Court formally requests Senator Flores and Representative Lex Burdell pass legislation during the '89 Texas legislature that will require TCEQs to require a local public hearing in the county where a proposed BESS facility is proposed, require any BESS facility to provide adequate fire protection in case of lithium battery fire, and a containment system to prevent any runoff or groundwater contamination in the event of a fire, require any BESS facility to have at least 1,500 foot setback from any adjacent property line, eliminate and prohibit all government subsidies for BESS installation, require a bond or other similar financial guarantee for the proper disposal of lithium batteries and other components of a BESS facility in case of fire or facility abandonment or cessation of operations. That's for the motion. I'll make a motion to approve those two.
Can I offer a suggestion?
Sure.
On the whereas that deals with the environmental impact? I'm not sure that we actually made an appropriate statement there, so I would suggest a revision to that and insert, whereas there is a significant negative environmental impact associated, and everything's the same, and I would strike out the after contaminants, just take out the that. And I think it will read better.
So whereas,
Whereas there is
a
significant environmental impact.
Negative environmental impact. And then strike for that after contaminants.
Okay. Fine, I'll accept that.
Yeah.
Is that good?
so we got a motion and a second. Discussion. I know we have some people signed up. Bill, I know you signed up for 1.2, we passed that one. Do you want to talk about 1.3?
And let me be clear, we passed it, Brian Alexander couldn't come in again, and we don't have any other VFD chiefs, so that's why we passed it, but if you want to speak to this, that'd be just as good.
You didn't know that when you signed up, that's over.
You're
Yeah.
right, Bill Fitch, City. And I signed up for this one because I couldn't sign up for both of them. But anyway, the VFW, they're under-equipped for this, and the speakers before me have done a much better job. But we're under-equipped for this, and it's going to be terrible. The little bit of research I've done on it recently has been kind of looking at the river and going downstream, and I think we're talking about a 391, which again is a little bit over my head. But I know we need people to help us with that. And so all of the cities along the Guadalupe, all the way down to the coast, are going to be affected by this if there is a catastrophic event. And if we had one or two of them going on at the same time, Guadalupe is going to be corrupted. And so we really need to, I think we need to go ahead and contact the folks downstream and let's get a team. Because I don't think, as you say, except for the folks who are making money off of this, nobody else wants these things. Thank you.
Yeah, I bet you the people downstream are fighting the same thing in their counties. I mean, they're probing from everywhere. And,
But we need to join
Jeff
them
has
is
done
what
a
I'm
lot of research on this and what have you, and 850 some odd potential BESS coming.
830. That's
830?
current.
Okay, that's significant, so it's not just Kerr County. So it's got to be federal money pushing all this, and probably the November election pushing it even harder. So, anyway.
Well,
So can I clarify, does the motion include two resolutions that would,
Yes, yes.
so I would request the same amendment to the other one? Right. That goes to TCEQ. Right.
Jeff, do you have anything to say? You just got here.
Judge Court Jeff Holt from Cypress Creek, Comfort, Texas. First of all, thank you all for taking the time to consider this. It's not easy to do a resolution. I fully admit that. It takes a lot to get people across the board. I just want to thank you, Jonathan, for working this. And it's not easy to do it with the open meetings as well. You got to find somebody to work with. Totally get it. Thank you. This is the first step, and it's a needed step. It's not easy. My weekend research is there are so many of these going in, and they've gotten property all around our counties, contiguous counties. And as you look for a 391 commission, you look for partners. You're going to look for another county, most likely, as you come up with a roster of folks. And there's no necessarily number that go with it, but there is a ratio, the 2/3 ratio. And as you come together to get the right people, thank you for working together with the court. I'll stand by to assist, of course, until I swear in later. But I think this is a needed first step. And I really hope that we can vote to get there for a resolution or two as they look at different things, and then work together with state officials. And it would be outside of my lane maybe to contact them directly. I think that's up to the court to do in order to find a champion at the state level. I think you know who it is already, but until maybe that person's sworn in, it has less effect. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I continue to study, and I can tell you folks, the map is really growing outside of this county. And I found 20 additional sites this weekend that I put on the map. And then with that, not in our county, but outside, there are certainly a land grab going on. So it's very real, and it's about how to maybe get them in the, let them know that we oppose it. That's the most important part. And then if we have to, let them know what we're looking for in the future. That's all I wanted to say. I covered a lot last time. Thank you for considering this, and that's all I have today. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff. Sure. We're also going to talk about the Chapter 391 next, but the only other thing that I'm going to make a statement about is that as great as it is that the court looks like we may approve a resolution or two, everybody who's concerned about best, you can take action too. Write your governor. I sent him a letter on Friday. If you need to go by with a lot of the reasoning, you can shamelessly steal it if you want. It's on my website. But I encourage you to put it in your own words. And if you're concerned, take a stand. Get up and do something. Send letters to the legislature, because they truly are the people that are going to have to do something to change this for the better. So all I'm saying is don't just rely on this commissioner's court.
Yeah, our state your state representative, our state representatives need to hear from as well. Even the ones that, it emboldens, even though they are against this to begin with, it also helps to hear you to, yes, that's what my people support me doing and carrying the fight for the rest of their people. So send something to here Flores, West Fordell, and just let them know we appreciate their efforts in fighting this.
Just a comment, tell your friends in other areas. This is a statewide problem, as Jeff mentioned, but rest assured, I work with the legislature a lot. There is a lot of money pushing these things, so it's going to take a lot of people from across the state, citizens, getting to their state rep, and it's going to. The problem is that the rural areas where they want to put these have fewer votes in the legislature than the urban areas. So it takes a lot of letters, a lot of pressure you get them to do something like this. So you want to contact your friends and tell them to write letters.
I wanted to make a comment. I think it's important that the public, and especially you that are concerned that are here in this courtroom today, understand that there are some very thorny legal issues with regard to interference with the person's property rights. The corporation that owns this property has property rights just like you have property rights to your property. And a lot of people think that counties can pass ordinances like the cities do and tell people what you can do out in the county. We cannot. As much as we would like to regulate some of these things, we cannot. We don't have the legal authority to do that. So as concerned citizens, we can certainly express our dismay at what they're doing with their property. We can do that. But we can't actually stop them. And I think you've misunderstood the role of the county here. We can't stop them.
No, I know.
Okay.
I'm very well aware of how deep this goes.
And so with that, but there are other things that the county can get in trouble for. And that would be possibly an inverse condemnation case if we interfere with their use of their property rights. And so I'm going to immediately turn to our county attorney and say, we need to look into that. And we'll probably follow up with Chuck because I was very conservative in giving some opinions about this thing. But we have to be careful as a county not to interfere with their property rights while still expressing our opinion that we don't like the use they put in the property too. So we're walking a tightrope, if you will, on how to do that. And that will, I think, impact what we do on this 391 discussion that's coming up. Because we want to be very careful that private citizens can take any action you want, and hopefully legal. We don't have the luxury that you have. We have to be much more careful. But I don't think I haven't talked to a single person that wants a lithium battery storage facility near anyone. I haven't talked to one. But I don't know if we can legally stop it. Now, the legislature can do things. They can make things happen. So when they tell you to contact our upcoming state representative and our current state senator, they have the power to do something that the counties don't have. And we want to be supportive of your wishes to express our concern about this situation. But at the same time, we do not have the authority to go in and tell them they can't do it. So, with that, any other discussion?
As a federal worker, I would say that phone calls and letters are counted and are a pain in the butt. So send all the letters, make all the phone calls, because that does get people's attention.
I'll make a comment that just in general as to why I worded the look at the resolution. But in one way,
read some needles in it.
I did read it, but one of the things I did, and I thought about it, is with the legislature is, I represent Kerr County, or part of Kerr County. We represent Kerr County. We don't represent Culberson County. If Culberson County and their residents want to do this, that's up to Culberson County people. That's why I didn't do blanket statewide do things. I think any county, the things that I recommended, any county should have those protections. But if somebody wants to do it, it's not for me to say that some counties don't want this. I don't know why they want it, but that's up to them to decide. If money's right. Anyway, that's it.
Any other discussion? Then those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous resolution. Move on to 1.3, which is 1.4. Consider, discuss, take appropriate action to appoint a regional planning commission pursuant to Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 391. Mr. Harris.
All right, I put this on here, and there's been a lot of talk since the last Commissioner's Court about forming a 391 commission. I've been in contact with our county attorney. I've been talking to several people. Our commissioners-elect coming in, I've talked to a good bit about this, and I don't think there's been a consensus yet what we should do. And reading this, it's a little confusing. In fact, had a conversation with county attorney this morning, and there's still some things we want clarified. So, I know we probably have some people signed up to talk. There's talk about trying to form a regional one. There's also been talk about trying to just do a county one to start with. And I can see both, but what, if we do form a committee, 2/3 have to be elected officials. And that gets a little cumbersome in itself, especially if we're just talking about a county only, you know, who would that be? You can't have more than 2 of us up here on it. So, who all do you have signed up to speak on this?
Mr. Jones?
Yeah, I've looked into this. I'm Tom Jones, Commissioner-elect Precinct 1. I've looked into this quite a bit, not as much as Mr. Holt has. And I just read some of this today with the authority, and that brought up some questions for me, but I'm in favor of a 391 commission, but I also feel like it probably should be per county. And that might be a different opinion from some others in here, but a lot of it because of what Commissioner Letts voiced a while ago. We don't know what other counties are thinking, where they're at, and I think if you're trying to make this an effective committee, you need it to move sooner than later. And when you try to organize a multiple county organization, it's time consuming. You're not going to get any results anytime soon. And it's going to take you a while to put together who would be there, setting up meetings and all that. You're looking at 6 months down the road before you get anything done. By the time you go down that road. So if you want this to be an effective committee, I think it needs to be primarily Kerr County that's represented in this, because the citizens here know what they want. You already know their oppositions, you already know their point of views. I think there are plenty of people in Kerr County that are well qualified to serve on this. And Judge, I appreciate what you had to say about everything as far as our levels of authority on there. I do, however, have some questions that I think the county attorney can probably look at a little more, because environmental health regulations, we do have authority on. And we do not have the authority to impose ourselves on private property rights, but we do have already in place environmental, right? OSSF and floodplains that people have to come through the county to get approved for. And I think we can show, I think we've got more authority than what we think we do right now through special use permits. And I think there needs to be a little more digging in towards that to see what exactly we can and can't and do and don't have the authority towards. Environmental impact is very big. We already know that this facility, although it may not offer one for air or water pollution by the building of the facility, we already have seen clearly what happens in case of a disaster. And so where we can't stop them from putting a facility in, we can impose certain things they have to do to protect our environment and our quality and our water. And so I think there needs to be a little more digging in towards that on our side. That could probably precede the 391 commission. And I think we might could have some type of an impact now. But the county attorney's gonna have to look and see how do we have the authority towards OSSF, where it impacts the water, and floodplains. Because I think you can probably bridge that gap towards this and where it might have an impact in case of fire hazards and that type of thing. So anyway, the commission, in my opinion, needs to be Kerr County residents because we are exactly on track and we're together and we have no clue what other counties view. They may like the money. You just don't know. So thank you.
Sir, you raised your hand in the back. Did you fill out a form with this?
I did, but it never made it up there.
Okay.
I can wait, or I just have one comment. I'm Jeff Berner, local resident here, also have land in Kendall County. And you're right, Judge, there's property rights and they have rights. But your rights also include my right to be free from you. So take that for what you want, but we can regulate burn bans, but we can't. This is very dangerous. It's just dangerous. And so I'm really going to push hard. We have Commissioner Carpenter in Precinct 4, pushing for us for 391. We think that the citizens coming together, county to county, is a better option than just this county, but I mean, I don't know. So I'm willing to work with y'all in any way to help this get pushed forward. Thank you.
I'd like to ask Jeff Holt, would you please take the podium, and I'd like to hear
Sure.
your opinion. I'd like to hear your opinion on whether, should we say it's just Kerr County if we do a chapter 391, or should we consider Kendall County? Because you've already had a number of meetings with some of their commissioners and their fire marshal, and they're a little bit further down the path than we are. And is there value in trying to have a chapter 391 with Kendall County?
Yes, sir. Great question. Thank you again for getting a chance to address the court on this. Different issue, taking action. I can tell you the rest of the folks that are around here are pretty pleased that we're talking about this, honestly. So I applaud the court for standing up a commission. There's not that many of them. They're not that easy to do. There's legal reviews. And it's the debate about the roster right now. And I'm glad that we have someone on the court already who's ready to take on the roster and put in some names. I can tell you after meeting with Chad Carpenter, the commissioner for Kendall County, they're very interested in being a part of a regional court. That's just from my conversation with him, and also Brian or Brady Constantine, his fire marshal. Diversity, regional, I think would probably have more gravitas than just Kerr County alone. You know, it shows to our elected representative that might be a part of it, and that elected representative, it doesn't have to necessarily represent both counties, and in this case it wouldn't with HC 53, right? It just, you need one to be a part of it as a ex officio non-voting member, and he doesn't have to represent both counties, and that becomes the unique mechanism of a 391. You have to have some state involvement, you have to have some local involvement. I would just ask that when you do the roster, look at somebody from water, somebody from environmental, somebody from agriculture, non-voting, in order to get that ratio of voting members, which would probably be cross-county commissioners. And when we build a roster, it doesn't have to be permanent, and Ms. Devlin can look at that for the future and make sure that's right, but it doesn't have to be permanent, it can grow. And it might grow with additional counties, but right now my recommendation, to answer your question, is Kerr and Kendall, because I know they're very interested. And the most interesting public meeting I've ever attended, and probably will be the comfort meeting that they had on this already. The residents right now are completely against this. And it was very interesting when that company tried to present it. We were very civil in this court. Yes. Compared to what I saw. There's words I don't want to use, but we're on the public and on camera. But it was really interesting to see that, and I thank y'all for taking a very measured approach and a good legal approach and review on this. And again, I believe it should be Kerr and Kendall. Thank you.
I agree with Jeff on that. I mean, I talk about Chad Carpenter on a regular basis, and they're very involved, and we're on the same page. The other advantage you get for bringing Kendall in, they have a different state rep and a different crops there for their state rep, and they have Buckingham.
No, she's
Campbell.
Andrew Legion?
No, the state senators, it's Donna Campbell.
Donna. Yes, Donna.
Donna Campbell. Buckingham's up there, yeah. But anyway, so you're bringing in a different state senator and a different state rep to get a little bit more, and they're both more on they represent a lot of urban areas, both of them. So I think it's good to try to work with Kendall County. It's pretty easy to work with Kendall County. We work down on lots of different things.
Well, so what's the action? I mean, I hear a lot of interest. I agree that we should move forward, but we're not ready to.
Exactly. We got a couple. We're juggling a couple balls here. You know, do we do strictly a county? There's pros and cons. Do we try to do a regional? Well, we can't really do that. It's going to take a while. Talking to people down the road who put on this. We can't appoint somebody from Kendall right here. And also the legal. And I agree with the judge. I think we need to consult with our county attorney, plus I think our outside counsel as well, and see what's the best for the county without us getting in hot water somewhere along the line.
I want some legal opinions in my briefcase.
Can we have that before the next meeting, a recommendation at that point?
We put it back on the agenda and can update where we are, and just keep it on, otherwise, and hopefully we'll have something we can vote on, and if not, we push it off until we do. I mean,
We've got to start that ball rolling.
yeah, we gotta start.
We got to start someplace, so do we just
Who's
want
gonna take the
to,
lead, I guess, is.
I'll call Chad and find out what Kendall County wants to do. They can take their court, they can decide, that's pretty simple. And then it's up to, I guess, you got the rest of it. No, I mean, I think it's, but Heather look at it and give some recommendations to the county attorneys, and if we need to go to outside counsel, we can, if not, we don't need to. No reason to spend money if we don't have to.
well,
Jeff Holton, rely on him, he's done an awful lot already, so.
I'd like to follow up on something that Jay said, which is absolutely true. And that is, state officials will listen to regional organizations better than they listen to a single county. I'm served as the chairman of ACOG right now, with all those elected officials, and 2/3 of them are elected officials. And it's 13 counties. And our Hill Country MHDD is 19 counties. Our regional public defender's office is 5 counties that we organized. We put that one together back in 2019 and 20. And the thing about multiple counties, it's a two-edged sword. You get a lot more credibility, but getting the consensus is more difficult. It's like herding cats. It really is. But I would encourage us to think in terms of multi-county. We work very well with Kendall County, we work very well with Gillespie County, we work very well with Bandera County, pretty seamlessly, even Medina County with PDO. I don't think they have the same issues that we have. For the counties that have a best issue, those are the ones that we want to recruit, even if they're not contiguous. If we had a coalition of just the best counties that were affected by this, that would probably be the most effective for the 91, in my opinion.
I'm sure you're right. We may not want to start that broad, initially at least, work closely with Kendall and see where it goes.
right, it can be morphed and changed.
Yeah, you said, you can always add the.
My push for having strictly a county is that we could do something quicker. Try to do the region might take longer. Do either one of y'all think we can get something done by the next court? I don't want this to drag out forever.
I think Kendall will go pretty quick, because they're further along than we are.
Okay.
They're very familiar with it, and we can get certainly by next court, find out if they're interested in doing a 391 jointly, and then, so.
In the meantime, I'd like to hear from some elected officials that would like to be on this committee, and something came up over the weekend is, could electeds like, we have Headwaters is elected, does that count? Hill Country Telephone has elected.
Well, there's that one, I don't think.
Huh? Okay, not government, that's something that came up over the weekend, when I was talking to some people. Just which would work? The school board would work. There's lots of people I'd like to get on there. The past precinct 2 Commissioner Tom Mosier, he came and spoke last time. I'd love to have him on a committee when we form one. So anyway,
But I don't think he counted as elected official.
no, he wouldn't. But I think he'd be good at the table. So anyway,
You can also reach out to the city.
it's true.
That might slow things down.
Well,
But they're elected.
They might be for it, want the residents.
So anyway, can we reach out to outside counsel now? And
I think defer to the county attorney and see, it's up to
vote.
We gotta listen to her first.
Well, exactly. I want to hear from both of those in the long run.
So if you want to put an executive session item on the next agenda, I can give you some legal advice, but in the meantime, I can send you guys an email that includes legal advice as well.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Well,
Okay, with that, we've run past our time. We have two 9:30 agenda items that we've not gotten to, and we have 16 9:45 agenda items. We'll take up when we come back from our break. Let's start again at 10:15. Moving on to item 1.12, this is the 9:30 document. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to allow the Veteran Services Office to accept donations in support of veteran activities and events. Ms. Saunders.
Good morning. Just coming up to see if I'm able to accept donations for our veteran activities and events. I'm leaving it kind of broad, but because we're having our benefits fair coming up next week. So we can go down a list of what is being donated so far. I cannot give you a complete list because we don't know everything as of yet.
I move for approval.
I'll second. We got a motion and a second to approve the list. What are we talking about?
Her being able to accept donations.
I can give you the list that we have right now. So AMVETS has donated $250. This is helping us get drinks and snacks. They've also donated a couple of gift cards, Starbucks and HEB, because we will have door prizes. VFW is donating $300 in Amazon gift cards. Mooney Airport has donated a gift certificate for a scenic flight for 2. That'll be part of our door prizes. Dairy Queen is donating 100 vouchers for free ice cream cones. Tybee High School Junior ROTC will be handing out the 200 hot dogs, but Culinary Nutrition are cooking them. The NHS at Tybee, they are going to donate us food and snacks. I don't know what that is as of yet. I don't know how much. I don't know exactly what it is. And our benefits fair has really reached a lot of people, so we've been having more who have said, let us see what we can do, but I don't have that answer as of yet besides what I just gave you.
So there'll be more coming, and
Possibly, yes, sir.
and I have something for you. So
Okay, oh, and I'm sorry, Gunny's Warriors also donating a basket for our door prizes as well.
What I'd recommend, Jenna, is we can go ahead and, accept donations, and once you get a complete list, or once a month, maybe at our first meeting in September, have it written down so we can formally accept them all, and then that way we keep a better record of them.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
we should.
If you give us your list, we can put that in an order that's what we approve.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then when you get more, we'll do it again.
Yes, sir.
Well, should I change my motion to
The list as presented.
as presented, pending the list being
Yeah.
heard?
Second. So we've got a revised motion and second to approve the revised list of the veteran service donations, contributions. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you, and I hope to see y'all all out there next week. We're very excited.
Okay, the next 9:30 item is 1.13. Consider discussing take appropriate action regarding any changes to the proposed county budget for FY 24-25. Michelle?
Yes. The budget that you received this morning, it shows expenditures over revenue increasing from the proposed budget by around $50,000. That was approximately $12,000 for the SO to update WatchGuard for the prosecutor's case management system, $20,000 for IT, for the CJIS updates training, and increasing the professional services budget line item to $250,000. There was also some fine tuning, is how I would call it, to where the latest position schedule was used in order to fine tune what all the departments are, and including the group insurance. When we estimate that, we show that under non-departmental, and that's been worked into the different departments, so you'll see changes in that. Again, the total of all of the changes were about $50,000.
Can you repeat that? How much total?
$50,000 roughly from the proposed budget.
Tanya, does it include, the court reporters from the 198th and 216 and the auditors and some of that stuff that's going to be heard on the agenda later?
It does, and including y'all's special request and new items also.
So you're comfortable we've got everything in it now?
I wouldn't know if I'd go that far, but I'm as comfortable as I can be at this point.
At 10:20.
At 10:20, not hearing from other departments.
Well, we have some things we're going to go over later today, correct? That may make some other adjustments.
I'm sorry?
We may make
She
some,
said that's already factored in. That
Well-
was the question I asked.
but there's, everything we discussed, but there's a number of action items on today's budget that could modify things a little bit more.
Yes, if there's something there that does not get passed, we'll probably be taking it out or
Okay.
adding, if y'all are gonna add any more.
So do we have any action to take right now?
I do not believe so.
Okay, so that was informational. Thank you. We'll move on to the 945 document. This has to be done in this order, as Mr. Reeves has taught me through the years. This is the way we do it. So the first thing I do is item 1.14, is I convene a public hearing on a proposed Kerr County budget for FY 24-25. This is a public meeting. Would anybody like to address the court? There being none, we will adjourn the public hearing. We go to item 1.15, which is to consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to adopt the elected official salaries for FY 24-25. Ms. Zapata.
Good morning. So the schedule in front of you is what was posted, published in the paper, and I'm asking that you accept it.
Move for approval.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the elected official salaries that was posted in the paper, published in the paper as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Moving on to item 1.16. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to approve special requests for specific positions and new positions in FY 24-25. Ms. Zapata.
So this is a summary sheet in your packets of the items that are the special positions or increases that you guys approved and spoke about at the workshop.
There we go. Paper here. All right, this goes to a conversation out of last meeting on special request. The sheriff, I know, had one about the jailer position that we talked about but didn't vote on. There was also one, as I recall, that I've talked to some of you about, maybe not all, well, I haven't talked to all of y'all, because I can't do that.
I have not talked to him about
it. But I thought that the animal control officers, or the deputy constables in the animal, or the, not animal control officers, deputy constables in that department should get some of an increase. The judge did not put any increase in there. They are law enforcement, they're not law enforcement to the degree of deputies, but I think there should be some increase in them. They got left behind, and they're, to me, I think that adjustment should be made of some amount. Maybe 5% increase is under two, three employees, two. And that's just my feeling.
When I was doing the proposed budget, I spent quite a bit of time looking, and there's just, as difficult as it is, there's a difference between what the first responding law enforcement does and what these, they're also licensed peace officers, but they don't have the same exposure, the same danger, harm. And I really didn't know how to parse it out. If we do it step, I didn't think it should be the same thing as what we did at KCSO.
And I agree with that. But, you know, you go up to someone, some of the stuff they do on both solid waste issues and pet issues, cruelty, animal cruelty, they're dealing with people that are pretty irate. And so anyway, that's just my thought. I thought they should have a, I don't know, step increase. I'm fine with that. I think that we need to show something. And then I think when we look at our salary study, when you look at the salary study next year, there you can make some adjustments, but I think that there should be some, at least a step increase for those two employees. This is popular.
Well, I said, you know.
You didn't want it.
And I can tell you, I would be voting against this, even though I was for some of these new hires and what have you. But I think that it's something that can be looked at down the road. In the committee, you're wrong, my personal feelings. Nights, weekends, arrests. There's a big difference. Yeah.
Well,
But anyway,
I don't want any Kerr County employee to feel neglected, or that we don't appreciate what we do. And they are a step above some of the other people that work in those departments, because they do have a license. I'm not opposed to doing something. I really had difficulty trying to divine how much it should be. And what I was really trying to say is, there's a difference between what our first responders do and what they do.
to move forward, I'll make a motion that we increase those two, the constables one step, and that we add the employee, the jailer position, because I think that the position for the sheriff's department, that's my motion. One step increase in those two, and
Should those be separate motions?
it could be. But I made one.
But it's all on the
2.5.
position.
That's small.
They're both on this agenda, I know, positions.
So, anyway, that's my motion.
I'll second that motion.
We got a motion to, and a second, to raise the two deputy in the animal control department, one step each, two of them. And the second part of that motion is to approve the request for the jailer, which is what on the next page?
That's not already in there?
No, it's not in there.
Well, it's on the list.
It's on the
but
list.
Right.
Not.
Trying to find where it is.
It was not on there.
So it's not in the budget that you gave us today?
It is
No,
not.
it is not.
Neither one of these are.
So between the two, we're another 100,000.
I can't find it on the schedule.
Late in the game. I mean, we've been over this how many times, workshops and
Oh.
stuff. and
It's on the third page. It's the
No. Oh, wait.
bottom box. It says federal community.
This is the whole.
No?
It's not on any of, it's not on the current one, I don't think. It's,
Okay.
it was on one of the older ones, and when that got eliminated, it just didn't get carried over.
Proposed, approved, right.
Vote. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm going to abstain.
I'll second
Your aye?
No.
Ooh, let's back it up. 3-1-1. So you're saying, I said that?
Aye.
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 Aye. 3-1-1.
Very good.
Very good. So that passes 3-1-1. Moving on to the next agenda. Is there anything else on new positions?
I think that was,
No. So we have now approved the new positions as revised. Okay. So is there a motion for that?
Move to approve the new,
We're still on 16. Listen, we've got a motion to approve the special request for specific positions and new positions as just revised.
yes.
correct.
Okay.
That's my motion.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 1.17, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to approve the grade and step schedule for FY 24-25.
We've calculated the new grading step, adding the 4% wage adjustment that was approved in previous quarter.
And we will have to revise it with these revisions.
And not the grading step, that is
Yeah,
going to
just
be.
grade step.
Yes, just the, yeah,
Well, this is one that we can all read, right?
yes.
Move for approval.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion to approve the grade and step schedule as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
4-1. Moving on to item 1.18, consider and discuss take appropriate action to adopt the position schedule for FY 24-25. Ms. Condon.
I ask that you approve the position schedule. It includes the increases as discussed at previous meetings, workshops. The only thing that's not on it are going to be the 3 revisions that y'all just did in court.
So this would be to approve the position schedule as revised.
This paper, right?
Right.
So moved.
A motion?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Forward. Item 1.19, consider discuss take appropriate action to approve the general provisions for FY 24-25.
And the general provisions, I've added a few, kind of revised a few items under 4, salaries and 4, just kind of cleaning up a little bit of the language. Also, Kelly and Cindy offered a little more guidance on their CDL drivers and some that come in with restrictions and endorsements, and so we've just made it more specific, easier to follow.
Easier for them to understand.
Everybody. And then number 3 on under 4 as well, clarifying, we're starting 14s and 15s at a step 2 coming in.
My question on that item, so it's 4.B3C. I note that it's the same grade 16, step 3, so, as B. Is that intended to be both of those the same? 16 step 3s without manual transmission restriction? The first one says or, the second one says and, yet it's the same grade and steps. So
Right, so
is
they
that intentional, or why do we need 2 of those lines?
So my understanding is they come in with there's different scenarios. There's some restrictions, some endorsements. Kelly can probably clarify that a little bit better for you. She understands it better than me.
Yeah.
A B license is a commercial license.
Yep.
It just cannot do all the things that the A can do, but they can do a lot of different things. This is kind of when you all were wanting to change this, I was like, this is gonna change some things at Road and Bridge also. But they both are commercial license. We really couldn't avoid anything as far as the pay because you weren't changing anything with the 16s, so.
So I guess as I read through it, I just wondered why we have that little bullet point C, and why don't we just make B and or?
I think 6-1 half dozen the other.
I guess so. Anyway, the real intent was to clarify that there wasn't an intention to have a different step. And if they're the same step, then I just think we don't really need a separate bullet.
So it's fine the way it is.
I guess so.
Well, and I think too, part of it, I understand what you're saying, but the other part of it is, that person they still will need to do some things in order to get to that step 16. So, I know what you're saying, but from a kind of an accounting standpoint on it, you can get hired with a B and you can do certain things, but there are certain things that you will be unable to do too. So.
It's not a major deal, it's just
No.
to me, it's and or, we're giving
Yeah.
them the same treatment, so, but whatever. I can live with it the way it's written.
Do we have a motion?
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
Under overtime, under the law enforcement, that fixes, I know there's a lot of discussions to how to handle that. This fixes that issue.
So this specific one right here is just speaking of anything over 171. And after further discussion with Sheriff and Tracy, anything over 171 will be paid overtime. Whereas before they could get comp time, but anything over 171 in a 28-day period will be overtime and calculated as overtime.
I make a motion to approve the general provisions as presented.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the general provisions as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 1.20, consider discuss take appropriate action to accept the order setting the salaries for the county auditor and assistant county auditors pursuant to the Texas Local Government Code.
Yes, you have before you the order from the district judges. The hearing was held on July the 23rd.
What percentage are these increases? Do you know?
The wage adjustment that you gave, that Commissioners Court voted on, these will be increased. When he did it, these are actually the salaries as they were shown without any increase.
I'll make a motion that we approve that general.
We really have a choice, do we?
No, no.
All right, it's a done deal. So,
No, accept the salaries.
Yes.
Make a motion to accept the salaries for the county auditor and assistant county auditor.
As a by the district judge.
Yeah.
You can do a motion, I'll second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the auditor salaries as presented. Any discussion? In favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to item 121. Consider discuss take appropriate action to accept the order setting the salaries for the 198th Court Reporter and 216th District Court Reporter.
Yes, the same with this. The hearing was held on July 23rd. The amounts as shown do not include, and although there is a comment that says, please add, or that the wage adjustment, that any wage adjustment that was voted on by Commissioners Court will be added to the amounts.
I'll make another motion that we accept this order setting the salaries for the 198th District Court Reporter and 216th District Court Reporter.
so just to clarify, are they getting the 4% or are they getting more than that?
They're not getting more, they're getting the exact same that y'all voted on for everybody.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the salaries for the two court reporters, 198 and 216. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to item 1.22. Consider discuss take appropriate action to adopt the FY 24-25 Kerr County budget. Take the record vote.
Okay. The Commissioners Court 24-25 budget presented earlier today that has not been adjusted for what you just voted on shows estimated property tax revenues of $32.6 million and non-tax revenues of $19.7 million. Total expenditures are approximately $66.8 million. The estimated expenditures over revenues are approximately $14.4 million, which basically means we are projecting to spend savings to pay for $5.7 million for the animal control facility, $4.1 million for road and bridge expenses, projects, software, and/or equipment, $1.1 million on airport projects, almost $1 million for the Hill Country Youth Event Center, $600,000 for IT software or equipment, $436,000 for vehicle purchases or leases, and $310,000 for 550 Earl Garrett renovations. Other projects include migrating to Encode 10, a new timekeeping system, case management software for the prosecutor's offices, 7 air conditioning units, and restriping or seal coating 440 and 550 Earl Garrett. Also, approximately $1.3 million of salaries and payroll-related expenditures were moved from ARPA funds back to the general and road and bridge funds. The property tax rate of 42.33 cents is projected to create a percentage of expenditures in fund balance of 26.65%. The minimum standard is 25%. And of course, those will be adjusted. I believe, though, with what the sheriff was saying last Monday, that we have $900,000 right now projected for the out-of-county prisoner revenue, and I believe that could go up at least $100,000, if not a little bit more, but that would keep it about even with what y'all did this morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Motion, do this vote.
And we vote. This is a vote to adopt the FY 24-25 Kerr County budget as presented
and revised.
and revised. Please, precinct 1.
I vote.
Precinct 2.
I mean, I don't like it. I think the budget's too high. I think I've been very clear that I did not support the 4% adjustment for employees. Well, it should have been a lot less. We've already made that decision, and hence I've been voting for the rest. And I'm not opposed to anything else, so I'm going to go along with this budget and vote for it. Yay.
Precinct 3.
Aye.
Precinct 4.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Unanimous, 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to the next item is 1.23. Consider discuss and appropriate action to take a record vote on the proposed 24 Kerr County tax rate. This would be a combined tax rate for Kerr County and lateral roads. Mr. Reed.
Good morning, Commissioners, Judge. Based on the various budget workshops and what the court voted on just a second ago, it's my understanding that the court desire to propose a tax rate being the no new revenue tax rate for the 2024 tax year. The total combined tax rate for the year 2024 will be 42.33 cents per $100 valuation. The breakdown of the tax rate is the maintenance and operations rate will be 35.47 cents per $100 valuation. The interest and sinking fund will be 4.64 cents per $100 valuation, and the lateral road fund would be 2.22 cents per $100 valuation. As I said, if you choose to propose this rate, that it would represent the no new revenue rate based on my calculations. I will need a record vote on this, please. A motion and a record vote to propose this rate.
Do you need for each, do you have to mention each specific different tax rate, not for just the total?
Or if you want to accept what I just read into the record, whatever's easiest
I'll
on you.
make a motion to accept what you read into the record.
We've got a motion and a second to approve the no new revenue rate as presented by Mr. Reeves just a minute ago. That would be 0.4233 cents per $100 valuation.
42.33 cents per $100.
42.33 cents. Any discussion? Precinct 1?
Aye.
Precinct 2?
Aye.
Precinct 3?
Aye.
Precinct 4?
Aye.
I vote yes, unanimous. Moving on to item 1 point, we're still on the timed items, folks. 1.24, consider discussing the appropriate action to set the date and time to hold a public hearing for the 2024 tax rate for Kerr County lateral roads.
Yes, just as the agenda reads, in order to meet my statutory requirements to publish the notice of the public hearing, I will need a date and time, please.
Do you have a recommended date and time?
September 9th.
I believe it is September 9th in accordance with our budget calendar. I just need, if that's still good with you, I would need a time.
I'll make a motion to set the date and time for the public hearing at September 9th at 10 a.m.
During our commission.
We have a motion and a second to schedule the public hearing for the tax rate for September 9th at 10 a.m. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 1.25, consider, discuss, take appropriate action to set the date and time for the adoption of the 2024 tax rate for Kerr County lateral roads.
Yes, sir, Judge. After the public hearing is held, you as a court will need to vote to adopt said tax rate. So therefore, I would need a time and a date. You could choose to adopt it at the same meeting or a subsequent meeting.
I just figured it out. Okay.
Make a motion to set the date. Yeah, at September 9th at 10:05.
Second.
And a motion and a second to set the adoption of the tax rate for September the 9th at 10:05. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 1.26, consider discuss appropriate action to take a record vote on the proposed 2024 Lake Ingram Estates Road Tax District rate.
Yes, sir. The 2024 tax rate to service the debt for the Lake Ingram Estates Road District will be 11.07 cents per $100 valuation. This entire tax rate will go for the interest and sinking fund of the road district. A record vote is required.
Your motion? Or is this a record vote?
Well, we would need, this is the proposed rate, so
Need a motion.
I'll make a motion to set the rate for the proposed 2024 Lake Ridge Estates Road District at 11.07 cents.
Is that a motion?
So,
A second? Any discussion? Those in favor, it's a record vote, so I'll call for precinct 1,
Aye.
precinct 2,
Aye.
3,
Aye.
4, and I vote aye. Unanimous. Moving on to item 1.27, consider discuss and take appropriate action to set the date and time to hold a public hearing for the 2024 tax rate for Lake Ingram Estates Road District.
make a motion to set the date of September 9th at 10:10 for the Lake Ingram
Can you set
State
them all
Road.
at 10:10 and just do them one
I think I'll, we're all
Well,
a few hiccups, these
wait.
things are quick.
at a time? You don't want
I just remember the way I was taught when I said it to the chairs. We do this so that there's a record that we did one first, and the next one, and the next one, and the next.
that's
to.
the
Are we gonna start
preferred,
around 4 minutes?
preferred way.
Chances are we'll be late
True.
Small increments.
This is the way we
I know
always
it
do
this
it.
way. I got you. Fair.
And this is for the public hearing.
Got it.
Okay, we got a motion to set the public hearing for the tax rate for Lake Ingram Road Estates Road District for September the 9th at 10:10.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Motion and second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Item 1.28, consider discuss and take appropriate action to set the date and time for the adoption of the 2024 tax rate for Lake Ingram Road District.
Yes, sir, Judge. After the public hearing for the Lake Ingram Estates Road District tax rate, you will need to vote to adopt such rate, and therefore I need a date and time for this.
I'll set- make a motion that we set the date and time at September 9th at 10:15.
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
This is a record vote?
No, sir, not for this one.
Okay, again, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 1.29, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to approve action regarding the optional $1.50 child safety fee and the optional $10 county road and bridge fee for 2025 vehicle registration per request from the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles, and authorize the tax assessment collector to submit the approval to the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles. Mr. Reed.
Yes, Judge. Section 502.401 of the Transportation Code allows the county to charge a fee not to exceed $10 when registering a vehicle. The $10 fund is dedicated to the County Road and Bridge Fund. According to the Texas DMV, during the 2023 calendar year, Kerr County collected $589,210 from this fee. During the first 7 months of this calendar year, we've collected $356,140. The fee must be approved prior to September 1 of each year, and it becomes effective January 1st. Included in your backup is the statutory language from that section. In addition, Section 502.403 of the code allows the county to charge a fee not to exceed $1.50 when registering a vehicle. This fee is dedicated to child safety. must be approved just like the other one prior to September 1st, and it becomes effective of January 1st of the following year. We first began collecting this fee January 1, 2021. In the current calendar, or in the 2023 calendar year, we collected $88,382, and in this current year to date, we have collected $53,421. The court has an option to accept this on an annual basis, hence the name optional fee. As tax assessor collector, I respectfully request that the court approve the $10 optional fee for the road and bridge fund of the county and the optional $1.50 for the child safety fee. These fees would become effective January 1st of 2025. After your approval, I will forward the court order to the Texas DMV.
The child safety, what's that entail?
That fee, I cannot tell you where it goes, but I can tell you what it's been used for. We collect the $1.50. It can go for anything on the roads like striping around school zones, on county roads, crosswalks, signage. It can also go to CASA for helping with ones may need child safety seats, whatever they may. The county takes the entire amount. We're able to retain 10% off the top. The remaining balance is divided between the county and the two municipalities located in Kerr County, proportionally to population.
Okay, thank you.
If there's any other questions, I'll be glad to.
I'll move to approve.
Second. We have a motion and second to approve the optional fees for child safety and county road bridge fee as presented. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you. May I be excused, Judge?
Escape while you can.
Well, I'm going to take things out of order. Be very patient, Jay. So let's go back and pick up your two items. 1.7, consider discussing an appropriate action to allow local youth event center, open to enter into an exclusive beverage provider contract with Mexico for a 3-year initial term. Okay, please.
Good morning, Board. Thanks for taking the time today to hear me out on the Pepsi contract. You do have in your backup. When we were hired to manage the Hill Country Youth Event Center, we took the charge of making sure to do everything we could to reduce the operating expenses and the need for taxpayer funding. So we take that seriously, and at all times we look for new revenue sources or ways to lower the operating expenses. What you have before you today is something that has come out as in our 9th year. You will see when we report we will have hit a financial or a revenue plateau. The event center is near maximum occupancy. It's very hard for me to find new spots to put paying customers. That's a good thing. It's a great problem to have. However, with the rising costs of insurance, of all the things that everybody else knows about, in the moving forward years, the expenses will be going up with no real way to see more revenue besides raising rental costs. Another way that venues in the industry combat that is to have contracts. You guys already have a liquor license that's already helped in that endeavor to bring in more revenue for people to use the facility. In reference to date, that has brought in $62,800 to your venue this year for the liquor license alone. This beverage contract with Pepsi would not be as lucrative as that, but it does give us the opportunity to offer more services to those people using the facility for that revenue stream. In addition to sponsorships has always been something that has, for whatever reason, not been to my standards. We do have a great relationship with Happy State Bank for the Expo Hall naming rights. That sponsorship revenue there, and a few small people for the show bar. This Pepsi contract comes with a sign-on bonus, and they would also provide money to do marketing materials. So they would have a marketing presence in the building, but more so it's that sponsorship that, I haven't been able to find. So I had to recruit help. This was not an effort of my own. This was from our corporate sponsorship folks in Beaumont, Texas. We were able to reach out to this national group, get meetings, and get us to where we are today with that. It's a long way of saying it would bring change to the event center. With this contract, there is a case minimum purchase. For over 3 years, we would have to buy 3,000 cases of Pepsi product. In order to do that, I would need your permission, your guidance, your authority to enforce that. People that use the facility would have to purchase Pepsi products through us for their events. As with the liquor license, some people would like that, some people wouldn't care, and some people would be against it. We would need to do this for all the events, contracted and not, to get to those 3,000 cases. So that includes water, of course. But so events like Renaissance Festival, easy events like that where we're already contracted with, we would enforce this with them. Things like the gun show, it'd be a simple pass on. We would order Pepsi products for them to sell at the gun show. One of the biggest, hardest sells would possibly be your own employees using the facility. The sheriff's office, not so much elections, I can't think of any food and beverage, but other people that do week-long events or are there for days on end or for a day, usually have some sort of snack service, beverage service there. We would need control of that to get to this limit. It's not saying we have to charge an upcharge. The reason being is that Pepsi's a sponsor and it's already given us $4,000 up front. We just need to meet those case limits. Furthermore, in years 2 and 3, you'll see in the paperwork that we would get a rebate, which means every case of Pepsi we buy would get us at least $1 back in return. So another revenue stream, small revenue stream, and yet revenue. So without any expense to the court, this can help bring in more revenue and help us serve the people who use the facility even more so than we already do. So I do know there's probably questions and comments on that, so at this time I'd like to address those.
Hey, I will start, I guess. This is just another example of what Jacob's been, how he works behind the scenes. I know that this is not where the conversation starts, and his negotiations got us a more favorable deal. It's not a big item like the naming rights and what have you, but it all helps. So he's done a lot of work on this, and so I move to approve.
I got a question for you.
Just a second.
Just a second.
We got a motion and a second. Okay.
That's great.
Now I got a question for you. When you say people can't bring in other soft drinks on their own, can they?
Yes, they can.
Oh, they can.
So we have no enforcement of that because we don't typically operate concessions. So
if they're not paying for a concessions with their rental, they can bring in their own. Can they bring their own alcohol too?
they
A
cannot.
good example would be the stock show when it's out there. You know, you're gonna have families out there, and they're gonna bring sandwiches and drinks and ice jets and everything else. And so that's a pretty good example.
So would we limit that? Probably not. I can't afford to. What we could do is the people that do sell concessions for the stock show, because some people do not bring in those things, we would have them for sale. So we would still work with those concessionaires. We're not asking for a complete takeover of concessions because we can't cook, so we can't do the full gambit. But if they had to order their Pepsi products through us, they'd be there waiting for them when they arrived, and they could then resell them.
How big is the $4,000 marketing signage?
How big? It will be catered to what we want. So
You don't have that.
it's banners, it's things like that. If I wanted to let them paint the concession stand Pepsi, I guess I could. I don't think we're gonna do that.
Okay.
So basically, this is gonna be any kind of a, you mentioned Renaissance, anything that we kind of control the concession from, they'll have to use Pepsi.
And I would need to extend that to people we haven't done that to in the past. So, for instance, so food trucks, I would need to work with them, and they would need to place an order with us to have that product there for them. So that's really what Pepsi wants, is they're trying to guarantee their revenue. Obviously, they want theirs. So I would have to work on that to work with every group to make sure that we have that.
I mean, it's gonna be hard to enforce 100%, but
Sure.
it's a good, I mean, I don't know of any venue you go to where they don't have contract with someone, so this is just.
What about coffee? Does Pepsi offer coffee, or?
They do iced coffees.
Stock show, or are we gonna be somebody out there offering coffee?
Yeah, so a good question. You know, iced coffees and stuff, they have the prepackaged things. So with Starbucks, Pepsi has that line. Pepsi's huge. If you want to look all their stuff up, it does include Dr. Pepper. The other question I would get that I would answer is people might be, oh, if I'm a Pepsi venue, I can't get my whiskey Coke at my private event. That doesn't entail here. It's stuff that's for sale. So it's going to really be the meetings and concessions for gun show, say swap meet, things like that. Renaissance Festival will, of course, be our biggest player in that.
Well, I guess the only question I would have would be like, say, our Christmas party, we have water and tea, and we can still do that, correct?
Correct.
So as long as we're not selling it.
Right, and that's where I'll have to be.
Or for an APO meeting, you know, if we offer canned water again, no big deal, doesn't matter where we get it.
Right, you know, with this exclusive deal, I would hope that if somebody was going to offer, you know, soft drink service, that they would please come through me, because that's where I'm going to have to enforce to get that case level. You know, that's what I really want to make sure is if you let us enter into this agreement, you know, we're locked into that 3,000 cases.
And do you have a problem with that number, the 3,000?
If I can get the meetings, like, you know, this year we've sold 815 cases of beer, and the liquor license just covers the expo hall. So if I can get those stock shows, those groups in the back that do their concessions, the food trucks there, I'm pretty confident that we can hit that 1,000. If not, you know, if you want to just say, well, it's just going to be with the liquor license and the expo hall, and all county employees can, if they have meetings, don't have to buy Pepsi, you know, I can't guarantee that 1,000. That's why I'm here today.
Anyone selling soft drinks has to get Pepsi products through you. And if you have water or tea, that's okay.
I read through this agreement, but I mean, do we need anything else in there just to cover us, to clarify that for events that are held where we don't have, where we're not charging for stuff, that it doesn't apply? I mean, I don't know.
The agreement's not with Kerr County.
Could you say that again?
It's with the management company.
And with the way it's written, it's so the sheriff uses the classroom. They have to go to HEB and buy sodas. That's the same as they would need them just to buy them to me. You know, like I said, with the pricing because of the sponsorship, that can just be a pass down. A lot of our groups be like, great, we'll have sodas there and not have to go to HEB and buy the stuff. Some groups, you know, work more on donations and other groups purchasing stuff for them. So it would be, you know, complicated, but, you know, that's what I'm here for, is those groups could give me and we could just make it work, but I need that authority from the court to back me up when I do those things.
It really sounds like some more of a best efforts to sell Pepsi.
Yeah, pretty much.
Of course.
Jake will have the conversation with the people that when they sign up and what have you. You know, if you're going to need soft drinks, you need to come through us.
So, Mr. Mel has to speak on this topic.
Alicia Bell, Precinct 1. Jake, I appreciate you trying to reduce the budget and everything, but I think what needs to be taken into account is Pepsi Company uses Synomics. Synomics uses fetal cells, so it's aborted fetal cells in their Pepsi products. So that turns out to be cannibalism, so you might want to consider that. Synomics, Synomyx.
That's in their product.
It is fetal, it's from the taste buds of the fetal cells. It's cannibalism. HEK vaccine line. So it's cannibalism in their products. And it's in a lot of products.
I would assume not just Pepsi products.
So, what we are doing is authorize you to enter into a contract, correct?
Correct.
Make a motion to authorize, oh, you already did that? Yeah. Oh, I did. Got a motion second?
Exclusive rights.
Okay, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, Jake, the next one is 418 and 1.8. 1.8, consider setting a action to partner with the city of Kerrville for a household hazardous waste event to be held at the Open Beach Event Center.
This is just, the city's reached out to us again to partner to use the venue for the household hazardous waste in February of next year. It's on a Saturday. We'd love to host with them again if you guys would let us agree to that.
Move for approval. I'll second.
Motion and second to approve
Oh, you good.
partnership with the city of Kerrville for household hazardous waste event probably next February.
The date again?
Say what?
The date again?
I hate to misspeak, I don't have my calendar. I think it's February 24th. Or that weekend.
It's a Saturday, so.
Yeah. Okay.
February 22nd.
I just wanted that out there. Jody and I both had a few people inquiring.
Yeah, there's a lot of interest. We're excited to be able to give those people that date. 22nd, February 22nd, 2025.
Any other discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Justin and Hassan, I don't know if Regan's still here, but
No, Reagan. It's okay.
they won't need him this year, or because in the
They
past,
will.
environmental health has helped
Yeah.
immensely with that event too.
They've worked good. The city provides a lot of help inside, and our county people have helped on the outside, finding cars up and what have you.
So the vote was unanimous.
Yes.
I'm trying to address the people that are here. Let's go back to a couple where we left off at 1.30. Consider discuss and take appropriate actions for Commissioners Court approval on the general contract with Seaport Fence and Building Company for gate and operator project on Spur 100 at the Road and Bridge Department property. The county judge signs it. Awesome.
Before you is a general contract with Seaport Fence and Building Company for a gate and operator project on Spur 100 at the Road and Bridge Department property. This project will provide the installation of a slide gate and commercial gate operator at our Spur 100 entrance. This will provide additional access, restriction, and security to this property. This project will be paid out of line item 15-612-575 maintenance facility. The county attorney has reviewed this contract. At this time, I ask the Commissioners Court for their approval of this general contract and have the appropriate people sign the same.
I'll move to approve the general contract with Seaport Fence and Building Company for the gate and operator project on Spur 100 at the Road and Bridge Department.
Second question.
Motion and second. Discussion.
This is only along Spur 100. This doesn't go back across the,
Where the pipe yard is, by the Little League, is that what you're?
no, I'm talking about the other, that, behind.
Oh, no, where the golf course used to
Yeah,
be?
the golf course
No,
is. This is just one Spur 100.
yes,
Okay.
for right now, yes.
Okay. And this, when we get to the point of, I'm sure you will at some point, this back
Yes.
towards the golf course, we need to look at that, because that, we need some screening there, where that screening goes from the hospital, from the two cemeteries over there.
Okay.
We'll try to do that coordinated.
Yeah, this, we already have been using this entrance and exit, and it has worked really well when everybody's trying to leave and coming out of where the front parking lot is. But this will secure it a lot more. Right now, it's an open gate, is what it is.
Okay, great.
There's a motion and a second to approve the general contract for Seaport Fence and Building as presented. Any other discussion?
I'll just throw in that Seacor's a local vendor and they do excellent quality work.
Appreciate it, huh?
Yes, they are.
Not next door neighbor.
Your next door neighbor. That's right.
How many votes did you just pick?
I'm not running. As of now.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 1.31, consider discuss take appropriate action for Commissioner's Court approval to temporarily close the concrete crossing section Cougar Park Road southwest in Guadalupe Ranch Estates for repair of concrete crossing. Ms. Hoffman.
We are needing to repair the concrete crossing on Cougar Park Road Southwest. This is in the Guadalupe Ranch Estate subdivision, which is off of FM 1340, kind of near Moe Ranch. I've added some pictures so you can kind of see the condition, but this project will require us to close this area of Cougar Park Road Southwest from September 3rd, which is a Tuesday after Labor Day, and through September 9th. I've already notified the HOA president and the Hunt BFD for the BFD that is out there in the development. And we're going to be putting up some signs probably today or tomorrow once we have Commissioner Court approval, and we'll get with Lisa to notify everybody. But we're going to fix this. It's really, really bumpy and it needs to be repaired. So we're going to put a concrete cap over it that's out there. So at this time, I ask the Commissioners Court for their approval to temporarily close this section of Cougar Park Road Southwest from September 3rd, 2024 to September 9th, 2024 for concrete crossing repairs, and this is in Precinct 4.
I move for approval.
Second. Got a motion and a second to approve the temporary closing of Cougar Park Road as presented.
I assume there's another way in and out,
Yes.
or they just go around?
You have Cherry Spring and you have Fallow Run that are your main, so yes.
For one week.
Okay. Any other discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
1.32, consider discuss and take appropriate action regarding the revision of plat for Creekside at Camp Verde Phase 2, lots 94, 95, 96. Charlie, Bobby Dorr.
Good morning. This proposal combines and revises lots 94, 95, and 96 of Creekside Camp Verde Phase 2 into two lots, totaling 23.07 acres. Lot 94A will be 12.54 acres, and lot 96A will be 10.53 acres. Both lots will continue to front on Citadel Drive. Public hearing was conducted previously on July 8th, but signatures weren't ready until the county engineer requests the court consider, discuss, and take appropriate action regarding the revision of plat for Creekside at Camp Verde Phase 2, lots 94, 95, and 96. This is plat file number 22-0609621 in precinct 2.
I'll make a motion to approve the revision of plat for Creekside at Camp Verde Phase 2, lots 94, 95, and 96.
Second.
Presented.
Got a motion and a second to approve the revision of the plat as presented to Creekside. Camp Verde. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 1.33.
Yeah, sit back there for a while.
I can't see that. Oh.
Yeah, but Bobby's still
I
there.
can see that.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was Bobby.
I was going to say something after Bobby got there.
I can't, where I said I cannot see that at all.
Boy,
You didn't move your chair down.
Oh, I kind of like being in there once in a while.
1.33, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action on an email from Hill Country Alliance suggesting that interested county commissioners sign a letter requesting that an administrative correction in the 89th legislative session be passed pertaining to the passage of House Bill 3697, which allows developers to circumvent the subdivision platting process by declaring their roads private.
On July 21st, 2024, Charlie and I attended a county-to-county workshop in Bernie. Tom Jones also attended, and there were other representatives from other counties. Major concern were some of the unintended consequences from this House Bill 3697. So the Hill Country Alliance, that group of counties, have proposed the email that was sent to you. And it mentions, I'll just read part of the email, to help raise awareness about challenges posed by House Bill 3697 and demonstrate a common interest in finding a solution, the Hill Country Alliance has drafted the attached policy. And it mentions there, if you would like to add your signature to the letter, please let me know by Wednesday, August 28th, which is 2 days from now. And if so, they will then draft the policy, update it, and then circulate it for the different signatures.
Bobby, you really think they were unintended consequences?
Just a few.
I'll move for approval.
I'll second.
Got a motion second to approve.
So I guess I was a little confused when I read through it. I mean, are we gonna do it as a commissioner's court, as some kind of a resolution, or are we just individually putting our names to it, or? I mean, I'm all for it. I want my name on this thing, but I'm not real clear of the process.
I guess the motion I was making for us to sign, but if we want to do it individually.
Well, I'm just asking.
Yeah, well, as it mentions, they're gonna, once they have all the ones that are ready and willing to do it, they'll have it properly prepared and then, I guess, make a circulation and distribute it accordingly. And then it'll be a series of signatures, I assume the judge, that will.
Yeah, I mean, I think a more effective way is for each county to do a resolution. It'd be great if City of Life wants to prepare a resolution and get it, rather than, I mean, and I think we're all in agreement that something needs to be done.
Yeah, it just sounds like there's not a lot of time for them to come back and, we won't have a resolution in front of us.
No.
Before we can sign here, they can do the letter, we can sign the letter and send a resolution.
Try.
We can do that, just the letter and all the signatures on it, yeah, gives that.
And I can notify them on Wednesday that yes, or we'd rather do something different or whatever you want.
And I suspect their deadline is more, to make people do something.
Yeah.
Right.
Because there's no legislative reason for that.
And I'm happy to do both.
Yeah.
Just put our individual names to it, as soon as you want to. And also, if we can come up with a resolution, I'll support that.
I think we're all supportive. I'm not sure exactly what it is that you're proposing to do. And I'm not sure whether or not this is really going to solve the problem. A lot of these tracks have already been surveyed and deeded.
A lot of those, but at least going forward, whenever they come up with clarification.
But I guess just the one fact of saying that, I'm going to call it the feeder road, cannot be a private road, it has to be a public road. That triggers the application of our subdivision rules, that one thing. And when we say administrative correction, then that's not what the legislature intended. Do I understand that right?
Right, that's what some of it.
I'm for that. Any other discussion?
So I guess, are we each individually signing a letter, or is the judge signing the letter on behalf of the court?
I think they want more signatures.
I think trying to come up with numbers.
Yeah.
The email's not real clear, it just says if you would like to add your signature, as far as the commissioners for it, so.
All the signatures, everybody signs it individually, that's what they.
Well, when I got the letter, and I got one, I I told Cody that I gotta have court approval before I can sign it. I should be signing this into, all approved.
Well,
But, so, well, why don't we just make a motion, revise this motion, say, to authorize all 5 of us to sign the letter if we want to.
that sounds good. That was my intent when I made the motion.
And so if somebody doesn't want to sign it, they don't have to sign it. But we can get as many numbers as we can.
There you go.
All right.
So with that, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I would just, for clarification purposes, I would think with or without this court's approval, we as individuals could sign this letter using our titles.
I think so, but it wasn't clear to me
I
whether
had
or
a
not.
discussion with our county attorney, not on this particular issue, but in the past on similar issues. And
My take on this one was that I would have to get approval.
And I think that, related to a little bit different topic, there's some other changes on the water side that we might want to look at too. So I'd encourage the board to work on a resolution that addresses this issue possibly and some of the water issues. I mean, water availability is that really doesn't make sense for water strikes.
We've had a lot of discussions about getting back to our subdivision regulations, some revisions, but we haven't done it.
And just so I'm clear, if I respond to the email that says, yes, we have ones that will sign, that's okay without having an official resolution.
Right.
Yes.
All right, thank y'all.
Okay, I'm sorry, Deb. Let's go back to 1.10. Consider discussing a corporate action to approve a memorandum of understanding between the American Red Cross and Kerr County University Bank. We waited a long time to do a very simple thing.
It's all right, I just like seeing county government work, Judge. All right, so.
You are safest.
Sir?
You're safest.
Yeah, so, Annex O is the recovery annex, 2022 annex is to the basic emergency management plan. It is up for review this year. In there is a memorandum of understanding between the American Red Cross and Kerr County Emergency Management. The purpose of the memorandum is to define a working relationship between the Hill Country chapter of the American Red Cross and Kerr County Emergency Management jointly with Kerr County and the city of Kerrville, city of Ingram. Their agencies and municipalities are prepared and for responding to disasters. MOU provides a broad framework for cooperation and support between the Red Cross and the county in assisting individuals and families who've been impacted by disaster and providing other humanitarian services. So this agreement did not change at all. This is the same agreement that was signed in 2019, but we renew them every 5 years. The only thing that's going to change are the signatories on here. The city of Ingram has a new mayor, the city of Kerrville has a new mayor, and we have a new disaster program manager for the American Red Cross.
I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between the American Red Cross and Kerr County Emergency.
I'll second.
A motion and a second to approve the MOU as presented. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners.
Let's just finish up this business. We're not gonna hold this side over here.
Okay.
Consider discuss, well, it's us.
Yeah.
Consider discuss take appropriate action regarding lease agreement with Kerr County, Kerr Area Rural Fire Association, ARFA, for a Zodiac FC 420 LS ARFA watercraft converter.
Start with the motion.
Sure.
Would you like to give it back?
Technically, we're supposed to have the motion in a second.
Well, then I'll make a motion that this court approve the lease agreement as presented. The lease agreement with the Kerr Area Rural Fire Association for a Zodiac FC 420 LSRF watercraft and trailer. And the second.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the lease agreement with ARFA with the vote.
So just,
That's what
it's this Swiftwater response craft. And just as a background, we had $31,000 in our budget, and it became a bit of a dated quote, and the price went up. And in our last court, we approved the budget amendment to give us the 35,600 or so to go ahead with this purchase. We've already issued the PO as a result of having that approval. And I think the motor and the trailer are kind of on back order, so we don't have bins available. We have a bin on the boat itself, but we don't necessarily need that. We give you the authority to sign the agreement as soon as those VIN numbers come in, and then we'll proceed with it. The understanding is that CARFA will provide insurance on it, as will the county, because it's a minimal cost to have kind of double insurance. So that's kind of what's going on in the background. Once we approve this agreement, though, as soon as we have the VIN numbers for the motor and trailer, CARFA will be able to go ahead and pick it up. That's the background.
Do we want to own it, or can we just give it to them?
We went round and round on that. Apparently, we have to remain the owner. So that's why the lease agreement, and it's a $10 a year fee.
Why do we have to stay on the record?
Sorry?
Why do we have to?
It's the funding, right? It has to go back to the bond council, and they guided us on this, that we had to maintain ownership.
This is kind of the item for the financing part that we did.
Yeah, that's what that is. So, otherwise I would be with you. I'd rather just give it to them, but
Well, then
we have to.
next year's budget, we have to.
So that's it.
So we got a motion second to approve the agreement with CARFA for the Swiftwater boat. Any presented? Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Let's move down to item 1.9. Consider discuss take appropriate action to accept donations to Kerr County Animal Services totaling $20 for the month of July 24.
I'll make a motion to accept the donation as presented.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on down to item 111. Consider discuss take appropriate action to discontinue the disaster declaration for the severe storm component, which was back in July 22 this year.
So moved.
Got a motion and a second. To discontinue the disaster declaration. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now back over to where we were. Item 1.34, consider discuss take appropriate actions to approve and authorize the county judge to sign the TIPS board resolution and interlocal agreement between Regional Education Service Center and a Texas public entity or local government. This agreement expedites purchasing with approved vendors. Corey.
I move to approve.
Do you have any questions? I can.
This is like a lot of those agreements, correct?
Yes.
That we can get better deals on to a buy board.
Yes.
I move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the TIPS board resolution as presented. Any other
I just
discussion?
kind of have a general question. I mean,
Would you like me to go?
okay, sure. I heard various people suggest that we should have a procurement officer or somebody to help us.
A purchasing agent?
Agent, that's it, thank you. So, but obviously having this service perhaps diminishes the need for a procurement agent, purchasing agent. Sorry, that's a better.
Are you asking for my opinion about that?
Yes.
Oh, I don't think it diminishes the need for a purchasing agent in Kerr County. A purchasing agent would be so helpful to all departments and elected officials and to the commissioner's court. I think that there's a lot of duplicated work. I think that it would make it more efficient for all of us to make purchases, to get guidance and give you guys guidance for those things.
Now, that said,
Okay.
what kind of price tag are we talking about for purchasing?
Would it even need to be
It's
a
too late for
full-time?
this budget.
Oh, yeah, once you do it.
It's something to think about.
Yeah.
I'll be glad to look into it for next year.
I'm just kind of asking, would this help reduce that need?
I don't know
It
that
makes it easier to
Right.
not problems.
Yeah.
This, I don't think this helps out the purchasing end, which is not going wrong. But that means that you have to get the good thing is that a lot of control would come in, so people can't go spend over their budget. They have to get ready first order before they go buy. And good and bad. Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Thank you. We've got a motion and a second to approve this. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. 1.35, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to submit the 24-25 county feral hog abatement grant pursuant to Texas legislature takes in and Agri-Life Extension Service Wildlife Service Program. Public can't be here today.
I move for approval. As you said, Noel couldn't be here today, but this is something we've been doing each year. Not always with success, but she's got new information, and the reason that we haven't been that successful, there's so many counties applying. I think when it first initiated, Kerr County got it. I think Bob Reeves and Roy Boston were the lead on that, but there wasn't nearly as many counties applying for it. But, you know, maybe we can garner some points and have better success.
A second.
A motion and a second to approve, I guess, submitting the feral hog abatement grant. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 1.36, consider, discuss, take appropriate action on the request from appointed and elected officials to appoint clerks and assistants for their offices pursuant to local government code. We do this every year, they've been submitted. We should have them with you.
They all have been submitted, or most of them? Some of them?
We've got a bunch. I got a few more this morning as well, so.
Close.
We need to keep a list of which ones, because they can't do it, I mean, I know it's formality, but we have a list of which ones have approved today.
I can add that to the, I mean, I haven't done a list. They're all in the backup, but I don't have a list for you to read.
Okay, with what was in the backup, right? There's those who haven't submitted it or wasn't in the backup. Kind of hard to prove.
Really what we want to do is just probably have Jody review them and let us know which ones we need to get in.
And we'll have this again on the 9th as well for those who missed this cutoff.
So, all department heads and elected officials, you get your list into us, or you can be called out at the next commission board meeting.
So we're gonna pass over for now and just take it up.
I think we have, well, except what we've got here.
Make motion to accept the request to, request from elected officials to be able to appoint their clerks and assistants.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Yes? Motion carries.
Just need to be careful with the way it's worded because it's as on date or
Yeah,
as.
as presented. As presented. 1.37, consider, discuss, take appropriate action for the court to authorize issuing a request for qualifications, or RFQ, for general engineering services for Kerr County. Mr. Casey.
Yeah, we are going to need engineering services for our capital improvement projects, both for the ag barn and for the 550 Earl Garrett building modifications. So this is an attempt to get the RFQ out, get the approval of the court to submit it. It's pretty broad and general, and our county attorney has reviewed it and is happy with it. It largely takes the form of prior RFQs for engineering and or architectural services. You know, even further discussions, we're gonna need some different types of engineers to assist us in these projects. And this should, I hope, will attract enough interest that we'll be able to award contracts to qualified engineers or engineering firms to provide the services that are needed to complete those two projects that I've referred to. And it's a 3-year deal, so if anything else comes up in subsequent years, I guess if the funds are still available, we could use this for that. This is a $50,000 RFQ. Services in addition to $50,000 for engineering.
Just keep this in perspective. We have a motion.
I'll make it.
Motion? Second. Keep it in perspective. In order to be able to retain these professionals, we did general engineering on this one, and then we're going to do it for architectural services. We've got to do an RFQ. We got to put out a request for qualifications. We also have to do, on the next one, we have to appoint members to serve on a selection review committee to rate the proposals when they come in. Plus, we gotta have, you go down to 139, you see down there, we're gonna have to have a selection criteria and rating sheet for the RFQs. So step 1, step 2, step 3. So that's what we're doing. This is step 1.
Yes.
RFQ.
And even the rating sheet is actually a part of the document that's been submitted. So you're right, we need to approve all of that.
Those in favor? Say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 1.39?
Yeah, that's,
38. We need
38, we've done.
No, 38.
No, I'm sorry. 38 is to appoint members for the selection review committee. And, we need a little discussion on that. I certainly volunteer to be part of that. And I would ask that, Charlie Hastings would be part of it, Noel Putnam would be part of it. And, I'm not sure how many we need.
An odd number, 5.
That's fine. I'm open to whoever else.
I thought maybe Tom Jones incoming.
No, that's too late.
Did you like?
Well, wait, can it be a non-employee or non-elected official?
We have to go on Charlie. We have to be an elected official.
So it can be a member of the public.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm just asking, I don't.
Can you go with 3?
we go with 3. My experience is asking an odd number, and the lower it is, the better.
Okay.
I think 3's fine.
Okay.
And those are the 3. So I move that the selection review committee consists of myself, Charlie Hastings, and Walter.
Second. Got a motion and a second to approve appointing Charlie Hastings, Will Putnam, and Rich Paces to the selection review committee for general engineering services. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Going on down to 1.39, consider discussing appropriate action to approve the selection criteria and rating sheet for the requested qualifications for the general engineering services.
I'll make a motion that we approve the selection criteria and rating sheet that was contained within the RFQ for general engineering services.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? In favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 1.40, consider discussing appropriate action for the court to authorize issuing an RFQ, a request for qualifications for general architectural services for Kerr County.
I'll make a motion that the court approve the RFQ for general architectural services as presented.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. 1.41, consider discussing appropriate action to appoint members of the selection review committee to rate the proposals for the RFQ for general architectural services.
I'll make a motion that the court approve the selection review committee consisting of Rich Paces, Charlie Hastings, and Noel Putnam for general architectural services.
Second.
Second, motion and a second. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 1.42, consider discussing and appropriate action to approve the selection criteria and rating sheet for the RFQ for general architectural services for Kerr County.
I make a motion that the court approve the selection criteria and rating sheet that's contained within the presented RFQ for general architectural services.
Got a motion and a second to approve the selection criteria and rating sheet for general architectural services as presented.
I don't know if we have a second.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Second.
She's second.
thank you. I was like going, I missed it.
Now we have a motion and a second.
Yes.
Thank you.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. What is it talking about? 1.43, consider, discuss, and approve the appointment of elected judges and alternates for a term of 1 year to begin September 1, 2024, in accordance with the Texas Elections Code, Section 32. Ms. Alford.
Yes, this is the yearly appointment for judges and alternate judges for for their year to begin September 1.
Move for approval.
a motion and a second to approve the appointment of judges as presented. The election of judges as presented. Any discussion?
Sure.
Does Roman Garcia live in 314 now? You have to live in the precinct?
You're supposed to, but if they can't find one, that they, I believe they put them
Okay.
wherever.
That's something.
Well, I'm fine with being elected judges, so I didn't think you lived in 314. Okay.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 1.44, consider, discuss, and approve the polling locations in accordance with Chapter 43 of the Texas Elections Code for the November 2024 election. Ms. Alford.
Yes, this is the list for the November 5th, 2024 Election Day precincts. We have a few new ones for precinct 118, which we did use that in the primary election, the Guadalupe National Resource Center on Lehman Drive, and then 202, we used the Center Point Volunteer Fire Department in the primary, and then the parties, Republican Party has requested to change precinct 314 from the Cali to the First Baptist Church on Washington Street, and then precinct 416 they asked to change from the KOA to the Cross Kingdom Church.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the polling locations as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item 1.45, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to approve the Central County Station personnel pursuant to Chapter 127.005 of the Texas Elections Code.
Yes, this is the Central County personnel for election night at the juvenile facility, and these are the people that I would like to have appointed. Is the manager would be Denise Viella, Judge Linda Bowman, the alternate judge would be Bunny Bond, tabulating supervisor would be Annabeth Patterson, assistant would be Nubia Cruz, and then several clerks would be Tamara Monroe, Heidi Killen, Aaron Labano, and then to upload the voting history that comes in from election night would be Sandra Mendez and Cynthia Tahea, and then we have to report to SOS, and that would be Nubia Cruz and Jackie McClintock, and then the website would be the IT department, either Corey, Scott, or Matt would be there that night.
Move for approval.
Second. Got a motion and a second to approve the Central County Station personnel as presented. Any discussions? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 1.46, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to approve the letter of support to Alamo Area Council of Governments application to the Charging and Fueling Infrastructure Discretionary Grant Program to add electric charging stations in Kerr County. We've been approached by ACOG to, as part of the grant, that Kerr County would be available for charging stations.
Judge, in reading the email back here, or in the backup, you know, this is talking about the Texas Triangle. We're not in the Texas Triangle. Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, and it talks about going from Dilley to Fort Worth. But if they come through Kirkville, they're at loss. And so, it doesn't add up, you know, to me.
I'm pretty much against electric vehicles and charging stations in general. I don't see them as something that the government should be subsidizing.
That was gone over for the eclipse. There was a lot more than I thought. I was surprised.
There's a lot, yeah.
Yeah,
And they want to add more.
At some point, we have grant opportunities, I understand. At some point, Kerr County is going to have,
But they're already here. We're not going to support anymore.
Question. I mean, I don't think that's the number really about these, but they vote on that. Who pays for the electricity these things use?
That's right.
There's, again, generally you have to pay for it. It's kind of like going to a fueling station.
Yeah,
I've seen them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're gonna construct one, they're not gonna put them in spaces where they're gonna construct. Electrical and maintenance and construction.
Let some private company come up with money to put them in, and if they can make a profit on it, great, more power to them.
I agree.
We don't need the government interfering with anything. This is ridiculous. They've already muddied the waters and screwed it all up.
Well, this isn't a good argument for it.
No, it's not. It goes back to wind power and what leads to best. Unreliable power sources require stabilization facilities. It's all pure stupidity. That's just my view on it.
So, I already have a motion, Judge, so.
Motion failed, again, item failed for lack of motion. So we'll move on to the approval agenda. 2.1, budget amendments.
You have before you 12 budget adjustments or amendments. There are some dealing with the contingency fund. We are moving $300,000 from payroll contingency to contingency to cover some of the last minute requests.
Motion second to approve budget amendments as presented. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carries. 2.2, pay bills.
Yes, invoices for today's consideration amount to $995,881.10.
I'll second.
Got a motion second to pay bills as presented. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carries. 2.3, late bills.
There are not any.
And 2.4, auditor reports.
Yes, we've performed internal audits for the Justice of the Peace, Precinct 1, the Treasurer's Office, and Environmental Health, and we're asking that you accept the reports.
Move for approval.
Got a motion second to approve the auditor reports as presented. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. 2.5, monthly reports.
Yes. June 2024, Veteran Service Office Director General Sanchez. July 2024, Veteran Service Office Director General Sanchez. Environmental Health and Animal Services Director Reagan Gibbons. Justice of the Peace Judge Mitzi French. Precinct 1. County Treasurer's Office County Treasurer Tracy Salvan. I move for approval.
Second.
Motion second to accept the monthly reports as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 2.6, court orders.
We have the court order from our August 13th meeting, numbers 40761 through 40785. I do have a couple of additions or modifications. On 40765, this relates to the Bear County, for contract with Bear County Jail Services. Currently reads, approve the interlocal agreement between Kerr County and Bear County for jail services. I think it should say jail inmate services, which is actually what we're doing. 40784. Actually, that was fine. 407, no, that's right, 4784. Currently reads, approve entering into a professional service agreement, PSA, with the developers of Bluewood Project, semicolon, PSA to be prepared by Paul Parkhurst, Gordon LLP. I think it should be really broken up a little bit more. It's approved entering into a professional service agreement, PSA, with the developers of Bluewood Project, subject to final approval of PSA by Commissioners Court, That's that part. And then the other part is authorize Nicole Parker and Corbin LLP to negotiate a PSA with Bluewood Project responsible for paying all associated negotiated costs of PSA project. That one, and then on 40785, there's two spots, one where it says step 21 should be grade 21, and then repeat down below should be grade 21. So those modifications will be approved.
Got a motion and a second to approve court orders as presented, revisions. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Move on to the information agenda. 3.1, status reports from department heads. Any? Move on to 3.2, status reports from elected officials. Quite a few in the room today. This is, I'll be a record. This time, Commissioner Ford here, have that many elected officials in the room. Okay, there being none, we'll move on to 3.3. Status reports from liaison commissioners. Being none, and we have nothing, one thing.
I'll give you one quick update from liaisons. I attended the airport workshop with the board to discuss their master planning process, which was last week. And the process, they've got a lot of work to do, but concerns TxDOT, FAA regulations, and of course, most important from our perspective is the planned improvements. So we'll do a lot of work on that. But I also had the opportunity to meet the new airport manager, Andrew Munoz. Seemed like he was off to a good start.
So we do have an executive session item, so we will adjourn and reconvene in executive session. It is 12:15, we're coming out of executive session. And 9.1 is action as may be required on matters discussed in executive session. Am I making a motion?
I think it's part of make it is that, I make a motion that the 4-H coordinator qualifies and remains an exempt employee, and the salary will increase January 1 to an annual amount of
$58,656
$58,656.
on January 1st.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. And with that, we're adjourned.
We have a couple.
Okay.
On item 1.16,
Oh, okay.
Thank you for keeping straight.
We did that.
yes, and it was 3 and 1, but I didn't get a on the vote.
I was a no.
You were no, okay.
Well, no, this was a weird one. So
Yeah.
you made the motion for adding the constables to go to up one step, and the jailer position. And we've got to vote. Nadine and I were comparing those. We got to vote 3-1-1 with judge abstaining, number 4 against. But then you followed that up with another motion to accept it as revised, with 3 making a motion, 1 making a second. It was kind of a weird way to do it. We don't really understood why we had a second motion
The
on
first
that.
one was to add the 3-1-1 vote was to make modifications to the schedule.
Mhm.
And the second vote was to approve the total schedule with that revision.
As revised. Okay, so on that vote, was it a 5-0 to approve the revisions?
Yes.
Okay.
Both of them, I made the motion and second.
Yes.
So you got the vote as what on you talking about 1.18 or 1.?
No, it's still 1.16, but the first motion was to include that increase for the constables in the jailer position, and that we had to vote 3 for it, 1 against, 1 abstain.
3-1-1.
3-1-1.
Right.
But then they followed it up with accepting the position as
The
revised.
revised.
Total position.
Yes, total
Yes.
position. And so were you in favor of that,
That was a
Commissioner
5-0
Harris?
vote.
No.
Oh, but that was,
After we did the 3-1-1, which you lost, then we did the whole schedule and you
Yeah, we
voted.
put it in the budget, that's all we're doing.
We were trying to get the vote, because Nadine and I both were like, did you have 5-0?
But that was weird.
Yeah.
It was
We had
weird.
2 things in the motion.
Yeah.
There's 2 motions.
Well, 2 different motions.
That was
Okay.
3-1-1.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And then, once that was decided, we'll go back to the schedule.
The whole schedule.
Yeah, the special request
With
and
those increases.
city positions, new positions. We needed to approve that, and that was unanimous.
And that was 5-0, okay, and that's.
Because that was just the front, we put it in the budget.
Okay.
That was on the merits.
That's it?
No,
good catch.
one more. On 1.22, should there not have been a motion and a second before y'all voted? No,
There wasn't a motion.
there was no motion.
And we've always done it, you need the motion the second before we can even talk about it or vote on it. So that's why we think there should be a motion and a
Recall on
second.
the motion to that.
So I'm going to recall 1.22, which is considered such take appropriate action to adopt the FY 2024-2025 Kerr County budget and take a record vote.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the 2024-25 Kerr County budget and take a record vote.
Okay. Second.
Aye.
Okay, second. Now, no, with that.
Oh, okay, got it.
But here's a second.
I just a second.
Okay, now we're going to take the record vote, which we took earlier. So, precinct 1,
Aye.
precinct 2, precinct 3,
Aye.
precinct 4.
I voted no originally on that.
No, you didn't.
Okay, that I'm broke. Aye.
And I vote aye, unanimous 5-0.
You were no on once.
Yeah,
7,
okay.
8,
That's not the same on the 123, because we took a record vote on that one.
We got a motion.
We got a
on that.
motion on
That
that
one you were
one.
fine
This
with.
was
You're
the first
good.
one we did, and we just jumped to it. We
Is
did.
that
We
the
just
only
looked
one
at
we
me
need?
and we
Another
voted.
one?
Yeah.
No, that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
All right.
That's
Clear
only
as mud?
two. Yes.
It was awkward. Who was telling us? Somebody was talking to us.
I don't know, but we went to it, and you looked at me, and we voted. And that was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
Somebody said we didn't even vote.
She's got record.
Well,
But then we needed a motion and second for Bob, so, which we did.
well,
So I don't know why.
We're covered.
We're good now, though.
you're done.
Everybody.
Now,